Welcome to the Confident Motherhood Podcast. I'm your host, Anne, mama of two, holistic pregnancy and pediatric sleep consultant, and the founder of Empowered Decisions. In our seasons together, I'm here to help you step into your inner confidence from pregnancy to motherhood. Whether you are preparing to meet your baby or integrating into new mom life, this is a safe space with education and support for your journey. Join me as we raise the vibe of our motherhood collective. Welcome back to the Confident Motherhood Podcast. Hi, I'm Anne, your host. I'm an infant and toddler sleep coach and a pregnancy coach. And this is the kickoff of season 4, which is a little bit wild to me. If I'm being honest, as I was getting my kids to bed tonight and be like, okay, I'm going to record the first episode of season 4. I was like, how is it possible that I'm on season 4? And I'm really proud of myself. And I say that, I don't think as moms and as women enough, we kind of pat ourselves on the back to be like, hey, I'm proud of you. Obviously, I do it with my kids a lot. And I say that because it's not easy to be a mom. We juggle 10 million different things. I'm a solo parent and I homeschool and I run my business from the house, and it feels like it's constant chaos. But I think that when you have a desire to create, to do something, to build something, it's just about carving out that intentional time. And I've said this for a very long time. I would not have a business. I would not be able to do half or 75% of the things that I'm able to do without my children being great sleepers and without being able to depend on their sleep schedule, whether that's bedtime or my youngest is still napping, and really being able to be intentional about that time when I know that they're sleeping. But nonetheless, even outside of that, I'm like, I'm really proud of you, Anne. I'm really proud of you because doing podcasting is not easy. And I think if you have even had the thought at all of, I think I want to create a podcast, one, let that little light inside of you, let that flame grow bigger, because mine started out as just a little teeny flame. I'm like, I think I want to do podcasting. And it's an overwhelming thought. What does that look like? The equipment, how do I record? And one of the best pieces of advice that I got, which was from my online business manager, her name is Carolina. I love her. She's also a bestie. And she was like, I want you to consider doing it in seasons. And that has been really attainable for me in mom life, to be able to do podcasting, because I'm able to take breaks in between. And whether that break is 2 months or 3 months, and also within that time, I can pull together a new group of topics. I can kind of get my thoughts together. I can start pre-recording so that once I'm in season, there's a little bit more of a flow and it's not as cumbersome of a task. So nonetheless, a little rant there. But if it's something that you're wanting to be doing, by the way, I'm always happy to answer questions about that, or even do an episode about kind of fitting in podcasting into mom life. But nonetheless, this is the kickoff of season 4. This is going to be more of an introductory episode. I want to share with you also a new sleep support that I put together in between season 3 wrapping up and the launch here of season 4. That's really exciting. So I want to share that and invite you into that program, as well as talk about how you can decide to not get on the struggle bus that is the roller coaster of the regression conversations. My baby is going through the fill in the blank X month sleep regression. And whether you have a little one or you're a little bit deeper into babyhood, newly into toddlerhood, there is a lot of conversation around regression. So I also today want to talk about that you don't have to subscribe to that. I actually always confidently share with families that I work with that we are moving beyond that season. We are laying a foundation so that your little one, you can get ahead of them. You can get ahead of them. You can even prevent regressions. But how do we do that? And what does that look like? So we're going to be talking about that as well. So let's kick off with new sleep support, which I am really excited about. So a little bit of backstory is I have worked privately with families for 8 years in a one-on-one coaching capacity. So when families bring me in as their sleep coach, I'm doing a holistic assessment and we have a prep session and I create a sleep plan, and you've got me for 2 weeks. One-on-one, answering all the questions, helping you get your little one sleeping and really laying that foundation, coming out of it successful, and also feeling like you have the tools and the education around sleep to keep sleep good for a long time. I always say it's bigger than the 2 weeks. And for a long time for me would be in the past 2 to 3 years, I've wanted to expand outside of one-on-one support and try to find a way to, how do I support more families? So if I just look at the collection or the demographic of families that are seeking sleep support, within that group, there are families that want that in an accelerated one-on-one, hold my hand, get me the results type of way. Those are the families that I work with. The families are like, give me the plan, but I also want the support that's going to come along with it to make sure that I'm successful and to make sure that this is right for my child. So that is usually the vibe of the families that I work with. But outside of that, there are also families that want the education, they want the support, they want the guidance, but it's not as aligned to do that in an accelerated way. Accelerated meaning in that 2-week period where we're checking all the things off the list. We've got the schedule, we've got the sleep skills, we've got the environment, we've gotten rid of the sleep debt, they're feeding efficiently. Like all of the boxes get checked in that 2 weeks. And I've honestly, if I'm being completely transparent, I've struggled with this over the past 2 to 3 years because I know that the magic and how I've worked with families over the years, a lot of that magic comes from the customization, the coaching and the plan and how you pivot and adjust is for that child. There's a deep level, like sleep is deeply unique child to child. And when I'm in that with a family, that is constantly being assessed so that we can make sure that child is continuing on with that journey. And I have thought, which if I'm being honest, I also think it was a bit of a limiting belief. I've thought 2 things. One, do I, Miss Type A over here, have the ability to release control of what that coaching container looks like in order to give families more freedom and more flexibility, but also have the same holistic approach and the same tools and the resources and the guidance and the step-by-step. And I would start and I would stop and I would start and I would stop. And that really bothered me because I felt like I was failing. I'm like, I have this deep desire to create something new. And at the time, 2 to 3 years ago, I'm like, oh, maybe it's a course. Maybe it's an online course that families take. And I struggled with, why doesn't this feel aligned? Why do I start and I stop and I start and I stop? And I started to realize that it's because I was trying to fit what I do in a one-on-one capacity with all of that control and with the step-by-steps. I was trying to fit it into a box. And I'm like, this is not going to work like this. So what I created is called the Empowered Sleep Coaching Circle, which is a 5-week group coaching experience. Now, group coaching, not to be confused with you're going through the step-by-step in the coaching experience as a group, meaning you are alongside this journey forcefully with other families, but it's in a group capacity where whoever is in the group at the time, and I'm only able to take like a handful of families a month when it's going to be at full capacity, just so I can make sure I'm giving everybody that attention. But I'm able to hop on weekly with families that are moving their way through this online space and doing videos at your own pace and implementing at your own pace to be able to help you personalize that experience. So I decided, I'm like, okay, I do need to get to a place where I am releasing the control of the accelerated container and having that little bubble around us and give families more freedom, but take the essence and the magic of the one-on-one coaching and to be able to create something new. And transparently, that took me 2 to 3 years to like come to the place where I'm like, okay, this is what I want it to look like. And I'm very proud of that. But here's where I think that this separates from taking any online sleep course, because there's many out there. And I have a lot of families that I've worked with that are like, hey, and we've done, X online course for our little one when they were this age or that age. And now we're getting to a place where we need more one-on-one or customized support. So I wanted to have that back end where you're able to log in and view videos and see resources and see the handouts and all the things. And I wanted 2 things to make sure that this felt empowered, like this felt like it was aligned with the magic of one-on-one coaching. One, I still wanted to make sure that I was doing a personalized assessment for each child so that I could help you as a parent customize your journey, even though it's something that is going to be self-led. You're going to decide how you move through the program. I am available weekly to hop on for live sleep Q&A to help you troubleshoot or further customize. So I wanted to make sure I had that personalized assessment. And the second piece is doing the live calls. So my vision as I was putting this together is normally one-on-one coaching is 2 weeks. I'm going to extend it to 5 weeks because you know what? Shit happens. Life happens. Like there's always so many things, whether it's just, life in general, whether it's work or it's family or being a parent, you have another child, where you can plan. And this happens a lot, even when I'm working in one-on-one containers where we think we're going to start this day or this week and things get shifted out. So I decided I'm going to extend to 5 weeks. You have me for 5 weeks and you can move your way through the program and you have access to that program beyond. And within that 5 weeks, you will choose 2 weeks within that to then implement the coaching process, because there is a method to the madness in how consistent we are once we are implementing. But nonetheless, you still have the freedom. Some families are meant to make sleep changes in a slow capacity, meaning, you know what, I'm going to start working on the schedule right now, and then I'm going to start kind of working on these associations, and then I'm going to adjust the feeding. I love doing everything at one time because I'm like, okay, we're going to work together for 2 weeks. And again, we're checking all those boxes, but that's not aligned for everybody. And I wanted to make sure that families had the freedom alongside the education to make it work for you and your family and your baby. So in the show notes, I'm going to make sure that there is a link with an invitation and a promo code for you to explore the circle. And this is something, you have any questions about this, you can always DM me, shoot me an email, anything you have questions on, like, is this the right fit for me? If you have any questions in general about the circle, but very excited about that and being able to support families in a new way and to see what that evolution looks like. I envision it's something that evolves and I'm able to drip new content in. So nonetheless, check that out. If you have any questions, you let me know. Okay, now let's get into this regression conversation, because I confidently tell families that when you sleep coach in a holistic way, I always think of sleep as a puzzle. So meaning you are assessing and making adjustments in one or all of the puzzle pieces that make up your child's sleep. That means that they have a solid sleep foundation. They can put themselves to sleep, so they have their own sleep skills. They're on an age-appropriate and child-appropriate schedule. They've gotten rid of any overtiredness or sleep debt, or nonetheless, like without having that solid rest, any of that's accumulated over weeks or months, they are well rested now. They have caught up. Their body's gone through that rest consolidation process. They're eating efficiently to support sleep. Their room is set up to be sleep conducive. And you, again, have these tools. When we have a solid foundation, babies do not just regress. They don't. They don't just wake up one day because they're 6 months, because they're 8 months, because they're 12 months, be like, I'm 8 months today and I just don't know how to sleep. But here's the confusion. Sleep and development are crucially connected. They are. So it's not to say that when little ones go, because I work with a lot of the littles, the 3s, the 4s, the 5-month-old, essentially babies under 6 months, and of course babies older and well into toddlerhood. But when we coach younger, there's a ton of growing. I always tell families, they don't stop growing. We got rolling and sitting and walking. We have, cognitive, we have so many things that are happening. They don't stop growing. And that development is connected to sleep, where you can see some disruption and changes in their sleep habits. And what that looks like is generally we can go through little pockets of short naps, extra night wakings, earlier rises, and increased sleep onset. You can just see some changes, but those changes should be a little period of time, whether that's like, on and off for a few days or maybe like a week or two, just kind of like on and off. But it's not something that is sending sleep backwards. So if you've ever heard parents talk about, we went through a sleep regression and like my little one's been in a sleep regression for the last month, the last 2 months, weeks. That's not a sleep regression. That is where there was cracks in the foundation. Now we have some growing that's upon us, some development, and it's like kaboom. Like what happens is it starts to magnify, the development starts to magnify or reveal sleep struggles that have technically been there all along, kind of like lying dormant, and then some development comes in. It's like, boom, all of a sudden sleep is a struggle. My baby can't fall asleep. They can't stay asleep. They're waking up a bunch of the nighttime. Daytime is, for crap, or daytime is a struggle. That's not a regression. That's just the revealing of like, hey, there is some sleep that needs to be assessed here. And whether we're making changes in one or multiple parts of their sleep puzzle, we need to get them to a more solid place so that they can move through that development and cope with that development with much more ease. That is the goal. For me, what I consider a true regression is when little ones have developed sleep skills, they can put themselves to sleep. And developing sleep skills, like I don't also always love the term self-soothing. And if I remember this correctly, even the original creator of that term also didn't feel like that was most aligned, is that I don't necessarily feel that when a little one learns their skills, that the development is regressing them. But what will cause a regression is when there is a slow reintroduction of sleep aids. So let's say we have a little one that was being held to sleep, rocked to sleep, nursed to sleep, whatnot, and we got them sleeping independently. And then we slowly reintroduced rocking, for example. And we kind of did it here and there and then a little bit more consistently. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, they won't go back in their crib, or now it's taking a long time to put them to sleep. And we're kind of jumping through those hoops again. Like that can cause babies to regress because they're regressing in their skills. They're no longer using their independent skills and they're now looking for help. So as rude as this sounds, and I always say this exactly to parents, I'm like, as rude as this sounds, babies don't regress, parents regress. And it's to no fault of our own. I've worked with many families over the years, like, oh, my little one got sick and we were co-sleeping and we ended up holding them. And those are the right decisions to make. But it wasn't just the illness that created a regression. But if we kind of reintroduce aids accidentally or intentionally, that can ultimately cause a regression. The good news when you lay a sleep foundation and little ones develop their skills is you can get right back to that place. So we just don't have to subscribe and get on the journey of the roller coaster that is this regression and that regression, because honestly, to me, that sounds unfair. Hey, welcome home with your brand new baby. Oh, by the way, sleep is going to be for crap at 4 months and 6 months and 8 months and 10 months and 12 months and 15, 16, 18, 19, 24 months. Like, what in the craziness is that? That's not what we want to be doing. And whether you have the intention of improving sleep a little bit, or you do want to go through a sleep coaching process, when you have that foundation, you get to take that pit in your stomach or that ball that you're waiting to drop. That all just dissolves. You don't have to be waiting for the next bomb to drop with sleep and like, oh, when is sleep going to be terrible? It's just about understanding your child and their sleep and the development so you can help them move through those seasons. And I, at this point, which is so crazy to say this, but my eldest is 8 and my youngest just turned 4. And I've been through it all. I've been through all the stuff and the teething and the illness and the development and all of the milestones and the things. And yeah, it can be sleep disruptive, but it in no way, shape, or form should be sending sleep backwards. So I just want to leave you with that of a little bit of reassurance and hope that just because that conversation is heavily circulated, right, in young, having infants and toddlers in that part of parenthood, that it's not a rite of passage and it's not something that you just have to white knuckle yourself through. I'm going to do another episode about this, but little one's sleep should be assessed. Just like we take them in for wellness visits and checkups, they're changing and growing and evolving, and assessing their sleep. I also do sleep insight audits where I just kind of assess what's going on with sleep, give some insight, understanding, education, and here's some changes that you could make to have more clarity, because that's really what it's about. A lot of sleep struggles is how we perceive our child's sleep. And if we perceive that there's struggles, then the next part of that conversation happens. But it's great to assess sleep and their development so that everything can be much easier. I really think that parenthood in general is much easier when you just have more insight and clarity on what your little one is going through. I know that we all joke, whether it's pregnancy or parenthood, we're like, is this normal? Is this normal? Is this a phase? There's all these questions that kind of circulate. So nonetheless, I just want to provide that reassurance that it's not something that you have to go through. You can prevent and get ahead of sleep regressions and just have a more solid foundation. Okay, to wrap up, welcome back. I'm so excited to be kicking off season 4. I invite you to check out the Empowered Sleep Coaching Circle, the new 5-week self-led group coaching experience, and to talk about regressions. So until the next episode, lots of love. Whether you're a tired mom struggling with your little one's sleep or an expecting mom looking for empowerment and advocacy as you prepare for birth, I'm here to show up for you with proven strategies and education to elevate your journey. You deserve to feel heard and given the tools to have success. Mama, you do not have to navigate your pregnancy or sleep struggles alone. Head over to empoweredwithann.com to discover how we can support you. Confidence, empowerment, and peace are just a click away.